Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome to Financial Fitness. If you're new to the channel and want to watch more worth the money videos and hear about personal finance, please subscribe. In this video, I'm going to be talking about whether the Galaxy Buds 2 are worth it or not, and how they compare to my favorite pair of wired headphones. Let's get started. So the Galaxy Unpacked event was on August 11th, which means they launched some new products, and of course, I couldn't help myself and I bought some stuff. Obviously, since you clicked on this video, you know I bought the Galaxy Buds 2. The rest of what I bought will be in another video. Here are the Galaxy Buds 2. So these retail for $149 or $150, and they launch on August 27th. So here's what comes in the box. So you have the earbuds and the charging case. The charging case does charge wirelessly in addition to via USB-C. So we're just going to open them up, and then so you'll see the green light, and this will be the light right here that charges and lights up when you either charge it wirelessly or via USB-C. And so what else do you get in the box? Okay, so you get a USB-C cable and some ear tips. That's what it looks like. Here are the ear tips. Okay, so I have already tried these on and the mediums happen to fit me, so I don't need to actually change the ear tips. First thing we're going to do is we are going to pair it. So all I did was open the case, got my phone, and you can see that the Galaxy Buds 2 showed up right away. And so we're going to connect here. Now you can see it shows the battery life of both the charging case and the earbuds. Here it is again slower. And it should ask you to pair automatically. So we're going to go into the Samsung Galaxy Wearable App, and of course the earbuds should show up. So looking at this, you do have several options. You have noise canceling and an ambient sound mode. The active noise canceling will cancel out any outside noise so you can hear your music better, and the ambient sound mode will actually allow you to talk to people if you're in a store or just hear, other things going on around you. So you have both ends of the spectrum. You're going to cancel out all the noise so you can hear only your music, or you can hear some outside noise. And so you can toggle between neither and just have just the music running without either the noise cancellation or the ambient sound mode. Or while you're listening, you can swap between the noise canceling and the ambient sound mode. But so more on both of those in a second. Going back to the charging case and the earbuds for a second. The earbuds themselves, they have a battery life of roughly 5 hours with active noise cancellation on. Without noise cancellation, they last about 7.5 hours. And a fully charged charging case will recharge the buds 3 times. So that should give you anywhere between 15 hours to about 22 hours of playback time, depending on if you're using the active noise cancellation or not. I did try and charge the charging case wirelessly earlier. I don't recommend that just because the charge time is so long, so only use the wireless charging for the charging case if you're just leaving it on the wireless charger overnight or something like that. Otherwise, it's probably better if you just charge it with the USB-C. Just to note, the Galaxy Buds 2 come in 4 different colors that you can choose from. They're all the same price. They come in an olive, lavender, white, and graphite, which is what I have here. Just going through a few more specs. Here are the dimensions and the dimensions of the charging case. And so as far as the drivers, they have 2 drivers in each bud, one for the highs and one for the lows. So they have a woofer and a tweeter. The woofer is for the low end and the tweeter is for the high end. Connects with Bluetooth 5.2. And the battery, as I was just talking about, 5 hours with the noise cancellation on and 7.5 hours with the noise cancellation off. And apparently 3.5 hours of talk time. Okay, so we're back on the app. So there's a couple of things that you might need to do before you actually start listening to anything. So the first thing that I would suggest is to go into the touch controls and turn them all on, because by default, the only ones that are enabled are the play and pause and the touch and hold, which will allow you to switch between the noise cancellation and the ambient sound mode. So you have to actually enable the double tap to go to the next track and the triple tap to go to the previous track. So from my experience so far in testing it, the buds can recognize the double tap to go to the next track a lot easier than the triple tap. It has some trouble with the triple tap, which we'll go into. There's also the ability for you to click on find your earbuds if you happen to lose them. It'll play a really loud sound so that you can find them. And then the only other settings are basically equalizer settings and whether you want it to read your notifications out loud. There is also an earbud fit test. So if you're not very familiar with noise canceling headphones and the secure fit that it's supposed to have in your ear, this should help you determine whether you have a fairly secure fit in your ear to optimize that active noise cancellation. The other part of active noise cancellation is the fit for the ear tips in your ear. That's part of the reason why Samsung provides the small, medium, and large, and the mediums are on the earbuds themselves right out of the box. If you don't have a secure fit, you really need that seal in your ear in order to cancel out the outside noise with the active noise cancellation on. Okay, while I have the earbuds in my ear, you can see the earbud fit test. So right now, before I actually have it do the test, I think one of the earbuds is a little bit loose in my ear. So it should say probably the left one is a little bit loose. Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. It's a little bit loose in my ear right now. So if I actually push it further in so it feels a little bit tighter and I can kind of hear myself talk internally, it should now say that they're both good to go. So something to note here is that if you're doing any type of talking or you're eating and chewing where your jaw is moving, the fit on the earbuds could loosen over time as you're moving your jaw. Okay, here are what the Galaxy Buds 2 look like in my ear. You could see they don't actually take up that much space. Something that I did notice is that I actually have a little bit of trouble taking them out because of how small they are. And also because they're pretty slippery, it's a bit hard to grip onto them to take out. I'm going to try and take this one out now. And so I think you just have to grab the top and then kind of twist and pull out a little bit. So if I jump into the equalizer, based on my early tests, I really only like the normal and the dynamic. Occasionally, depending on what you're listening to, I could see where you might want to switch it to maybe bass boost or treble boost. Bass boost if you're listening to more like EDM and electronic music type stuff. Anything else with a lot of bass. Treble stuff more if you're listening to like instrumentals and vocals. For the most part, I mean, I would say probably stay with either the normal or the dynamic. I'm going to choose to stay with normal. Coming back to the active noise cancellation and the ambient sound mode. Once you turn on the ambient sound mode, which I have to put them in my ear in order for that to turn on, you can control whether you want it either low, medium, or high. So out of the box, they come on as medium, and I kind of found that to be a little bit uncomfortable, so I moved it to low. But I can only imagine if you actually have it on high, that would be extremely irritating. So the reason for that is basically the ambient sound mode actually pipes in the outside noise into your ear through the microphones that are on each earbud. So it's actually amplifying the sound. It's not just projecting the sound into your ear. It's basically amplifying it. So it's actually extremely loud, probably louder than it actually is if you didn't have the earbuds in your ear at all. So I think you should either go with medium or low. Probably even more often low than even the medium. I do find it helpful if you're, in a store or something and you need to talk to someone, or you're crossing the street and, you're walking around the city and you just kind of want to be a little bit more aware of things around you. The ambient sound mode could be extremely helpful, but I'm not sure it's really done the best way here because it's just amplifying the sound too much. With the active noise cancellation, it's a little bit different. It's either on or off, and it's going to try and cancel out as much noise as it can. But basically what active noise cancellation does is it actually cancels out all the sound around you by sending out an exact opposite frequency. And that's how it's canceling out the sound. Okay, I'm going to demo some of the touch controls. So the touch controls will not work if the buds are not in your ear. So if you have one of them in your ear and one of them out of your ear, the one that is out of your ear will not activate the touch controls. So I'm going to put one in my ear, and I just tapped it once and it started playing. So I'm going to tap it one more time and it's going to pause. I'm going to let it play again. And now I'm going to double tap to go to the next song. And it does go to the next song, but I did have to do it twice. So I'm going to triple tap to go back to the previous song. And so it restarted the song. And that triple tap went to the next song. So it didn't recognize the triple tap there. It restarted the song there, it recognized the triple tap. So I think what's happening is that it has trouble between distinguishing a double and a triple tap. So when you're doing the taps, I think it needs to be a pretty consistent pace, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, versus just 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. I think it needs to be a bit slower than that, like 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. So otherwise it can't recognize it fast enough. So I have noticed that I was having trouble earlier with the triple tap in particular, and sometimes the double tap. The play and pause with the single tap was fine, and the switching to the ambient sound mode or between the ambient sound mode and the active noise cancellation was not a problem. Okay, so it knows that I don't have both buds in my ear. Okay, I now have both in my ear. So now, with the music playing, I can switch back and forth just by holding. And so the single tap to play and pause works well every time. And then the holding to switch between the noise cancellation and the ambient sound works just fine. It's the double and the triple tap, but mostly the triple tap that there are some issues. And also that there's no way to just toggle between the 3 modes. When you're switching between the modes, you either switch between the active noise cancellation or the ambient sound mode. You can't actually toggle it off unless you go back into the Samsung Wearable App. So something to note there. Okay, before I get to how they sound, I'm going to put them back in the case and you should be able to see that they are magnetic. So you just drop them in, and then the charging light comes on immediately to let you know that it is charging again. And in the app, you can see here 97% on the earbuds and 89% charge left on the case. So it's pretty easy for you to see where the battery stands on either the case or the buds, as long as you have an Android phone. Okay, so how do they sound? To me, they sound pretty good. They sound a little bit better than I was actually expecting for the $150 price range. I will say that just by listening, I can hear that the woofer on each earbud is probably double the size of the tweeter, because it's a little bit more bass heavy, I would say, than a more balanced set of headphones. Not that that's bad. I mean, if you really love bass, then there should be more than enough bass for you. I just noticed that no matter what volume I had the headphones on, that I generally heard more bass than treble, even with the equalizer set to normal. So that's just something to point out. I think they sound really good for 150 bucks, and I would definitely choose them over anything under $50. Those are really not that good. A lot of those are, first of all, a lot bigger and they don't fit in your ear as well. So you can see that these are actually really tiny. So if you see them in person, it is really tiny. So a lot of like the cheaper earbuds, they're much bigger, maybe like 20-30% bigger. And so they'll actually stick out of your ear a lot more. And also they'll slowly start to slip out of your ear, which is another thing. Even if you're not talking or chewing or just moving your jaw, they will naturally slip out like cheaper earbuds. Because I have another cheaper set and they both don't sound as good. They slip out of my ear and they don't really come with many ear tips. So at least these, they come with a small, medium, large on the ear tips. Battery life is pretty decent, and especially with the charging case where you get 3 full charges and the sound quality being pretty good. It is still a little bit bass heavy to me, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I like the way they sound in general, and they did actually exceed my expectations for earbuds, coming off of a very budget pair that I got on Amazon for like 30 or 40 bucks. So these are much better, and I would definitely recommend them. And the charging case itself is also not very big. Those are the Galaxy Buds 2. And so now I'm going to compare it to something entirely different. A set of wired headphones, and that would be these. The Shure SE535. So I've had these since 2011, and these run about 400 to 500 bucks depending on what deal you find and depending on when you got them. Right now, they're called the SE535 Pro. These are in-ear monitors, so they are actually designed for on-stage musicians. These are not only more expensive and sort of in a different price range, they are wired and they have 3 drivers. So instead of the Galaxy Buds 2, which only has 2, these actually have 3 in each earbud. So there's a woofer and there's 2 tweeters, one for the mid-range notes and one for the high-range notes. So I hear the difference when I put on the Galaxy Buds 2 versus these. And I mean, I much prefer, the sound of these because also they're more balanced, they're more powerful, the sound stage is bigger, and also the amount of ear tips that it comes with is vast. So let me show you some of the things that come in the box. So aside from this carrying case, which is a hard shell zipper case, it comes with all of this stuff. So it comes with a volume actuator where you can actually plug it in and then just control the volume with a switch over here. It comes with a dual prong airline adapter. It comes with a 1/4 inch headphone jack adapter. And it comes with a bunch of ear tips. So it comes with some rubber ones, a small, large, medium. I think I have the mediums somewhere else. But in addition, it comes with all of these different ones. It comes with this yellow kind of like sponge feeling one. Comes with an earwax removal kit, or an earwax removal tool, I should say. Earwax removal tool. And then it comes with small, medium, large rubber ear tips, which are these gray ones. And then it comes with some harder plastic ones, which are the clear I'm not sure that it comes with the clear ones anymore, but I never liked the clear ones anyway. I found them to be way too stiff. My personal preference was the triple flange, which is not actually in this bag because I've actually replaced them several times. So this tip is actually what I prefer. It's the triple flange, but I actually cut off one of the flanges. So you can see here there's actually two on each side. I thought with three, it was probably getting pretty close to actually touching my eardrum, so I actually cut the third one off. So I turned it into a double flange. But that's the great thing about these, is that you have so many ear tips to choose from to get the best sound that works for your ears. Now, if you don't like headphones or earbuds that go too far in your ear, then you probably won't like these. And then you'd probably have to go with noise canceling headphones. But personally, I don't really like noise canceling headphones quite as much because they usually require a battery. And depending on the level or the price range of the noise canceling headphones that you get, there's actually a small frequency, which is the noise cancellation, that you can actually hear sometimes. But that again depends on the price range that you're talking about. So basically with in-ear monitors and any kind of noise canceling, or in the case of the Shures, they're actually noise isolating. So there is a difference between noise isolating and noise canceling, which I'll get to in a second. The ear tips, you have so many to choose from. You have these rubber ones, you have these spongy yellow ones that you basically press a little bit before you stick them in your ear, and then they basically conform to the inside shape of your ear canal. You press them in and then they'll expand. The rubber ones are kind of soft. They're pretty comfortable, especially if you plan to wear the headphones for a long time. I found that as far as the noise isolation ability, I like the yellow ones and the triple flange, but turning it into a double flange worked a little bit better. Personally for me, just because I thought that the triple was just going a little bit too far in my ear. I'm going to show you how to put in the Shure SE535 in your ear and how to take them out. So here's how you put them in. It might be a little bit hard to see with my hand actually in the way. But so basically you put it in almost vertically, like almost upside down or very vertically. And then you start pushing it in your ear, and as you push it in your ear, as it's going further and further in, you start twisting it down so that it kind of rests on the inner part of your ear. So you can see here, all of the flange from this side is actually in my ear. So you can see how little of it you see. And so part of the reason, even though I'm not listening to anything, why I needed to keep the wire on is without the wire, I might not actually be able to take it out. But so with the wire, when I take it out, I twist it out, and then it will pop out. The cable on the Shure SE535 and all of Shure's in-ear headphones, the cable is made of Kevlar. Since they're made of Kevlar, I find it unlikely that you'd accidentally rip them. I mean, maybe if you were cutting them in some way. I mean, Kevlar is pretty durable and tough. So I can't see how you would really do it by accident in too many ways. I mean, just short of cutting it, I can't really see how you would break it. Besides, it's easily replaceable. These black Comply ear tips, they work a lot like the yellow one that I showed earlier. You press them before you put them in your ear, and then they slowly will expand to kind of conform to your ear canal. So these are also really comfortable, but sometimes I find that these actually slip out a little bit. Yellow ones are a little bit, I guess they have a little bit more texture, and they're not quite as smooth, so they don't really slip out as much. That's why I like the yellow tips just a little bit more than these. They both accomplish the same thing, which is to create a good seal in your ear to activate that noise isolation. So going back to the noise cancellation versus the noise isolation. The noise isolation basically just acts as an earplug where it's preventing any sound from getting into your ear, versus the noise cancellation where you need a battery for noise cancellation, because basically the headphone is using a microphone to listen to the outside noise and send an opposite frequency to try and cancel out that outside noise. And so that's the reason why I don't prefer noise cancellation of really any headphones. Sometimes you can hear the actual opposite noise cancellation frequency depending on price range of the headphones that you're talking about. So I mean, I'd prefer not to use noise cancellation, not only because sometimes you can hear the frequency, but it also requires a battery and will impact battery life of the headphones. So with the noise isolation, there's no battery. It's an earplug and you have the drivers in the earbud that play the music, and that's it. I think it's more simple, and as long as you can get a good seal, it will prevent more noise from getting into your ear and disturbing your music than the noise cancellation will. So my experience from using the Shures for a really long time, using them on the plane and everything like that, the Shures block out 37 decibels or up to 37 decibels of sound. And I found that in my testing of the Galaxy Buds 2, that they were not going to be able to cancel out noise up to that level. So just walking around, if I have the Shures in my ears, I literally will hear nothing, even if I'm not playing music. The difference with the Galaxy Buds 2 and the noise cancellation is if I'm playing music, I might not hear some of the other outside noises except for maybe some random car horns or something like that. When I was outside, I did hear some ambient noise when I turned on the ambient noise mode. I was able to hear a plane flying around somewhere nearby when I turned the ambient sound mode on. When I turned the ambient sound mode off, I still heard the plane flying over my head just a little bit, but it wasn't totally gone. Whereas I know from experience, if I had the Shures in my ear, it would be gone. Personally, I favor noise isolation, and I think as long as you can get a better fit, the noise isolation will be a lot better. So, for example, you can see that these tips, they would go pretty far in your ear. So you have to be comfortable putting these in your ear. Because if you're not comfortable putting something this far in your ear, these won't work for you. If I just kind of do a comparison, it's not even close. I mean, as far as how far it goes in the ear, the buds are actually a little bit bigger than these only because there's a battery. If there was no battery, they'd probably be about the same size. But you could see here when I put them side by side, the Shures go in your ear way further. Another thing that I should point out is with the Shures, they do have a wireless adapter, which I was considering getting at one point. But I guess the standout feature here is that it doesn't require a battery, and also that these disconnect. So I can disconnect the cable. So if, let's say, the cable rips or something like that, I can always just easily replace it. Now, with the true wireless adapter, I can actually hook in the true wireless adapter into this port right here. And then, it would be hooked up to a battery for each earbud. Now, I've heard various things where some people like the way it sounds, some people don't. So I'm a little bit up in the air whether that's actually a good choice to turn these into, wireless earbuds. But it is an option, and I do like the fact that you can replace the cable. So, and it's pretty easy. So you just saw me disconnect it, and it's just as easy to reconnect it, and they just snap back into place. So I'll disconnect it again so you can take a closer look at this. So as far as a price comparison, I know it's not necessarily a fair price comparison because these are $150, and these are, right now, they're about $450, but when they first came out, they were closer to about $500 to $550, depending on what kind of deal you could find. So they were anywhere between 2.5 times to 3 times more expensive. It's a little bit like comparing apples to oranges, but wired headphones still have a place, even though these days it's getting a little outdated. But I think wired headphones still have a place. They may not really be able to be used without dongles, but that is one of the reasons why I bought the Galaxy S10 Plus, because it still has a headphone jack. It's one of the last series of flagship phones to still have the headphone jack. To be fair, this is also not a fair comparison because these headphones are not in the same price range, but it goes to show that the sound quality from wired headphones is not yet outdated, even though headphone jacks on smartphones are disappearing. For the average consumer, the Galaxy Buds 2 should be more than adequate based on both pricing and sound quality. They bring great features and sound quality for the price, and the active noise cancellation is a nice addition to top it off. If you lean more towards an audiophile or just want to hear more detail in your music or want to experience the biggest soundstage possible, in-ear monitors like the Shure SE535 is the way to go. Overall, I still want to use my Shures again once I decide whether I want to use just a USB-C dongle or wait until the next version of a wireless adapter that comes out for MMCX connection that might be better than the true wireless one. For now, the convenience and pretty decent sound quality of the Galaxy Buds 2 are my interim fix to listen to music. I'll leave affiliate links for both headphones in the description below if you're interested in buying either of these headphones after watching this review and supporting this channel. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this video and found it insightful. Click the like button if you did, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell so you can see when I post videos next. Feel free to leave comments, questions, and any topics you might want to hear about in future videos to get on track to being financially fit. See you in the next video.